Welcome back to our special segment called Brand Buzz, where we take a closer look at social media. Today's focus, young people and mental health. Just this week, the chief medical doctor and health educator for the United States, the U.S. Surgeon General, said he wants Congress to put a health warning label on social media apps. Dr. Vivek Murthy says that social media is contributing to a decline in children and teens' mental health, and he wants a warning label put on apps like those found on cigarettes and alcohol. Murthy cited several studies, a 2019 American Medical Association study that shows teens who spend 3 hours a day on social media double their risk of depression. Reaction to the Surgeon General's demand has been mixed. California's governor almost immediately called for a ban on smartphones in the state's public schools. But some scientists say there is not enough evidence for a blanket warning, and that type of content viewed is more important than time that is spent online. One young person who has experienced the highs and lows of social media use is actress and singer Lauren Gray. She has more than 50 million TikTok followers and sat down with CGTN's Dan Williams at Collision Tech Conference taking place in Toronto, Canada.
There's so many obvious positives from that, and obviously your journey is super positive. But tell me a little bit about, because I think I read that there was some bullying as well at the beginning, some jealousy. Tell me a little bit about that and the impact perhaps of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone experiences that to some degree, but mine was it was kind of amplified once the whole social media thing came into the equation. I was going to public school for a little bit and ended up having to leave. Actually left school twice because of bullying and things like that. Having it in school is difficult enough, but once you have, you're putting yourself out there to the world, it gets a little more complicated. So that was something that I had to navigate and sort of learn when to stop paying attention and what to let in and what to keep out.
But there's obviously still, there's always a backlash, right? And there's a lot of parent worry. Is there like any advice that you would give in terms of that, or what do you say to either both parents and teens about managing that early kind of thrust of social media?
Well, I think as parents, I try to put myself in the position of if I was a parent today, I would be terrified. And it's really difficult when technology is constantly evolving. I mean, we're here at Web Summit and there's a lot happening that is slightly terrifying. And it's hard to stay in the loop. But when I started social media, the first thing my mom did was downloaded all of the apps that I was on, and she would watch my content and she'd be like, I think you should take this down because of this. And she monitored my content in a way, or even monitoring the things that I was paying attention to and the things that I was watching in a way that made me understand why certain things weren't going to be helpful or why certain things were maybe a little bit harmful. And I think that the most important thing, not only with social media, but in general, is to have that communication and to just try to be as informed as possible about what kids are watching. I have so many parents come up to me with their kids and they're like, I don't know who you are, but she wants a picture with you. Like, well, maybe you probably should know who I am and who your kids are watching, because you just don't know. As far as safety, I had a scholarship session yesterday where I was talking to college students about internet safety and amongst other things, but that was one of the questions that I got. And my number one advice to anyone who's actively posting on social media is to be wary of posting where you're at in the moment. And I feel like for influencers and people with audiences, that's kind of a known thing, but if you're 11, 12-year-old teenagers at the mall posting where they're at, that can be potentially dangerous. So I would say wait until you leave a place before posting about it, because it's just safer that way, and that's something that I've had to learn the hard way.